The Huda Kattan Empire. Picture this. You're sitting in your cubicle, dreaming about false eyelashes. Not wearing them, not buying them, just thinking about eyelashes. Most people would call that a distraction. Huda Kattan called it a business plan. Today, we're going to walk through the story of how a finance blogger with a passion for makeup turned into one of the most recognized names in beauty. And trust me, this journey involves more drama than a soap opera, more twists than a pretzel factory, and enough determination to power a small city. So grab your favorite beverage, get comfortable, and let me tell you about the woman who proved that sometimes the best business strategy is just being really, really good at something people actually need. The unlikely beginning. Let's rewind to 2006. Huda Kattan was living in Los Angeles, working as a finance recruiter. Now, if you're thinking that sounds like the opposite of a glamorous beauty empire origin story, you'd be absolutely right. But here's where it gets interesting. Huda had always been obsessed with makeup, not in a casual, I like lipstick way, but in a, I will practice blending eyeshadow for 3 hours on a Tuesday night way. Her friends and family probably thought she was a little intense about it. Turns out, intense is just another word for future entrepreneur. She started a blog called Huda Beauty in 2010. Just a simple blog, no fancy production, no massive following, just someone sharing makeup tips on the internet, which, if we're being honest, describes about 17 million other blogs at that time. But then came the move that changed everything. In 2013, Huda decided to create her own false eyelashes. And not just any false eyelashes. She wanted to make the kind that would make your eyes look like they belonged on a Disney princess who also moonlighted as a supermodel. Now, here's where most people would have quit. The beauty industry was already crowded. Major brands had unlimited budgets. What chance did a blogger from Oklahoma have against companies with skyscrapers and shareholders? But Huda had something those big companies didn't. She actually talked to her audience. She read comments. She understood what people wanted because she was one of those people. It's amazing what happens when you actually listen. The lash that launched 1,000 products. The first Huda Beauty lashes launched in Sephora in 2013, and they didn't just sell. They flew off the shelves like someone had announced they were giving away free money with every purchase. Kim Kardashian wore them, celebrities started requesting them, makeup artists began recommending them, and Huda Kattan went from "who's that" to, wait, the Huda? In what felt like 15 minutes. But here's the thing about overnight success. It's never actually overnight. Huda had been building her skills, her audience, and her knowledge for years. She'd been experimenting with makeup since she was young, studying techniques, practicing on anyone who would sit still long enough. When opportunity knocked, she didn't have to go searching for the door. She'd already installed a welcome mat. The lashes made enough money for Huda to think bigger, much bigger. In 2016, she launched liquid lipsticks. Remember when every single person on Instagram had the same matte lip look? Yeah, Huda had something to do with that. The lipsticks became another hit. Then came eyeshadow palettes with names that sounded like exotic vacation destinations, foundation that promised to match every skin tone, concealers that could hide anything short of a tattoo. Each product launch was an event. Huda would tease them on social media for weeks, building anticipation like she was releasing the next blockbuster movie instead of a palette of neutral browns, and people ate it up. The social media mastermind. Now, we need to talk about something that sets Huda apart from almost every other beauty brand founder, her understanding of social media. This woman doesn't just use Instagram, she speaks fluent Instagram in a way that makes Mark Zuckerberg probably feel a little jealous. Huda was posting tutorials, tips, and transformations back when most brand founders were still trying to figure out what a hashtag was. She wasn't just selling products, she was building a community. She was creating content that people actually wanted to watch, not just advertisements disguised as posts. Her Instagram account grew to millions of followers, not because she bought them or used some shady trick, but because she posted content that was genuinely helpful and entertaining. Revolutionary concept, right? She showed people how to contour before contouring became the thing everyone pretended they'd always known how to do. She demonstrated baking, which sounds like a cooking technique, but is actually about setting your makeup with powder. She made beauty accessible instead of intimidating. And here's the clever part. Every tutorial was basically a demonstration of her products, but it never felt like a sales pitch because she was teaching you something useful. She turned education into marketing and marketing into entertainment. That's not just smart, that's genius-level strategy. The numbers speak for themselves. Her main Instagram account has over 50 million followers. Her brand account has millions more. That's more people than live in many entire countries, all tuning in to watch someone explain the difference between a cut crease and a halo eye. Building the empire. By 2017, Huda Beauty was valued at over $1 billion. Let me repeat that, $1 billion with a B, from false eyelashes and lipstick. The company expanded globally, landing in Sephora stores worldwide, setting up shop in major retailers, and creating its own standalone stores. Huda opened her first boutique in Dubai because apparently when you build a beauty empire, you get to pick glamorous locations for your shops. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. The beauty industry is brutal. Competition is fierce. Trends change faster than you can say dewy finish. One day, everyone wants full coverage foundation. The next day, everyone's into barely there makeup. Keeping up requires constant innovation. Huda managed by staying connected to her audience. She launched products based on what people were asking for, not just what looked good in a boardroom. She collaborated with influencers who brought fresh perspectives. She wasn't afraid to discontinue products that weren't working and pivot to new ideas. In 2018, investment firm TSG Consumer Partners acquired Huda Beauty, valuing the company at over $1 billion. Huda and her family retained majority ownership, which is important. She built this empire and she kept control of it. So, let's talk numbers. As of recent estimates, Huda Kattan's personal net worth sits somewhere in the range of several $100 million. Some sources say more. The exact figure doesn't really matter, because either way, those eyelashes turned out to be a pretty solid investment. But here's what's more interesting than the money: the lessons. Huda's story isn't just about getting rich, it's about seeing an opportunity, taking a risk, and refusing to give up when things got difficult. She started with something small and specific. She didn't try to launch 100 products at once. She focused on making the best false eyelashes she could create. Then she expanded thoughtfully, one product category at a time. She used social media not as a megaphone, but as a conversation. She listened to her customers, responded to feedback, and built genuine relationships with her audience. In an age where everyone's trying to go viral, Huda focused on being valuable. She stayed authentic. Even as her brand grew into this massive company, Huda remained the face of it, still posting tutorials, still engaging with followers, still being herself. That authenticity is rarer than you might think in the beauty industry. From finance recruiter to beauty mogul, from blogger to billionaire brand owner, Huda Kattan's story proves that sometimes the most powerful business tool isn't a complicated strategy or a massive budget. Sometimes it's just passion combined with persistence, sprinkled with a genuine desire to solve problems for real people. She saw that people wanted better false eyelashes, so she made them. She noticed that people needed clearer makeup tutorials, so she created them. She built an empire by paying attention, working hard, and never forgetting that behind every sale was a person trying to feel confident. Not bad for someone who just really liked makeup. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, consider subscribing for more deep dives into how people built their empires. And remember, your weird obsession might just be your next business venture. Just probably don't quit your day job until the eyelashes start flying off the shelves. See you next time.